What's going on, guys? I am Toxic Jordan. Welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to get into a discussion about the titles. There were a ton of new titles that came to the game at the start of the 7-year anniversary. So we are going to be taking a look at one specific set of the titles that came out. They are under the special titles here. This is the set. The special titles tab is the one that got the most amount of additions. There are so many different titles to achieve in here. I want to say over like 80% of these just came to the game with the 7th anniversary. And as you can see here, I already have a good half of them, maybe a little more than half completed. So I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks here and show you what I have been doing. So the ones that we are going to be focusing on are these ones here that say gathering of, union of, and alliance of every category, right? So basically what you have to do to earn these is use every single category 300 times. So you have to use a full team of Wicked Bloodline 300 times, and then you'll be able to earn that. So it's going to be the same with all of these different categories, right? All 86 categories are here. Accelerated Battle, Bond of Friendship, you know, Sworn Enemies, right? They're all in here. So I'm going to be showing you guys what some of the best team builds are to be able to get those missions done as quickly as possible. Because if you use a team build that has, you know, is made up of multiple categories, then each run you do will count as one run for every single one of the categories that your team is made up of, rather than just running one at a time. It would take you years to get that done. Especially if you're not somebody that refreshes your stamina frequently. So we will go ahead and jump right in. We are going to be using a cool little web tool here to help us as well. We've got this nice little website that allows us to basically select every categories here. So we're able to select all these different categories. So basically Resurrected Warriors and Revenge I have selected right now. And then this is a list of all the characters that are amongst both of those categories. So every single one of these characters is on both Resurrected Warriors and Revenge. So yeah, basically I'm going to be using this as a way to show you guys all of the units that exist in the game that you have the potential to use for these teams that I'm going to be talking about. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so the first category that I've got for you here, or the first team rather, is going to include all 13 of these categories that you see here on the side. So it's basically a full Gotenks team. So the tricky thing about this is you need these two guys for it. They are summonable SRs. So you've got a summonable SR Trunks and a Goten here, and then they Dokkan Awaken into Gotenks cards. So unless you've got extra copies of the SSR for this tech, or for this STR and physical Gotenks sitting around to be able to use on this team, then you're going to have them for this team to work out for you. But if you do have them, it is very worthwhile, because as you can see, you're able to clear 13 categories all in one with this team. This was the first one that I went ahead and started working on when the anniversary started. So I've got all 13 of those categories completed with my 300 runs already. This was an easy clap. So we've also got this fun little graphic that I made here, because between all of the teams I'm going to show you, it does encompass all 86 of the categories in game. So we're going to be keeping track of which categories we have checked off the list just to make sure that we get them all. So for the first one here, boom, we've got 13 categories down, quite a few to go. So we will continue on here to the next team. Alright, so the next category that we have here is going to encompass all 9 of those categories. It's basically an Angel Goku team. So lots of different Angel Gokus around here. This one's really, really exciting too. I forgot to mention in the last one that there were quite a few categories that are not popular. That's going to be one of the really important parts that I'm going to be making note of throughout this. So Otherworld Warriors is a category that isn't super popular. There's not a ton of characters on it. Quite a few of these other categories are pretty easy to fill out though. There's lots of units on them. But Otherworld Warriors in specific is a very, very good category because you're not ever going to accidentally run an Otherworld Warriors category. Whereas like Pure Saiyans, Goku's family, you know, Majin Buu Saga, things like that, you're going to be running those all the time. I also did want to mention, you'll notice that there are already a few repeat categories, like Majin Buu Saga. I know the last one encompassed that. So I am just going to list all of them, because not everybody's going to be able to create all of these teams. So I will just list every single category that the team provides, even if it's not a new, unique category that we haven't already covered from a previous team. Just that way it gives everyone the best shot to get as many of these titles achieved as possible. But yeah, so there's a few more options here on this team than the last one. You've definitely got a lot of good free-to-play options that you can use in here. Some of these two guys are free to play here. This guy's available in the shop, and then obviously you can have the SSR of this free to play guy as well, and the SSR of this guy you could buy in the shop as well. So yeah, that's almost the entire team right there, just on stuff you could go get out of the shop right now if you wanted to. So yeah, this is definitely not too hard of a team to build. Most of these units are pretty old. I imagine most people have enough of these characters to be able to build a team of 6. So let's go ahead and switch over to our checklist, and we'll check these guys off. Alright, so we are adding some more in there. Sweet. Still a long way to go, though. Let's move on to the next. So the next team we've got here is going to be a primarily Blue Vegeta team. It's pretty much like Blue Vegeta and then Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is the theme here. So this one's only 4 categories, but all 4 of those are brand new, unique categories that we haven't covered yet. I actually just lied to you because we already used Power Beyond Super Saiyan, but the other 3 are unique categories, and this is a good one because All Out Struggle, Full Power, and Powerful Comeback are more rare categories for sure. So you're going to be getting 3 pretty uncommon categories out of the way with this one. There are mostly just top tier units here, so I imagine a lot of people have these units. But yeah, these 2 guys here are TURs of the LRs here, and then these guys are all, or well, I guess this guy and this guy are SSRs of those TURs as well. This guy is a free-to-play unit you can farm up from the Bojack story event, so he is available, but with him being 1, him being 2, and then you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, you basically only have 6 units on this category, exactly, that you're going to be able to run. Again, unless you have, like, the TURs or the base SSR of this guy, then, yeah, so there's pretty much exactly 6 units, so you do need all the characters here to be able to run this category. Okay, so let's check the checklist for this one. Boom, there we go. 3 more down. Okay, up next we've got our Piccolo team here. It's going to be all of our Piccolo cards. So we've got Namekians, Battle of Wits, Bond of Master and Disciple, and Worthy Rivals. I really was hoping to get the Saiyan Saga in here on this one too, but unfortunately almost all of these Piccolos are not on the Saiyan Saga, unfortunately, so we were not able to get that category included, but we've got those ones. The Namekians one is obviously the main one, the main draw there. But the bonus to using all these Piccolo cards is that you get those other categories as well. Because if you were using like Demon King Piccolos or Kami cards and things like that to get the Namekians category done, they don't share any other categories with Piccolo. So you would just be getting the Namekians, whereas this way you're getting a few extra credits on there. And as you can see here, there are a lot of different Piccolo cards to choose from. So even down to like these rares and stuff, though it's not recommended to use them on teams, if you're just like running through story events and stuff, just farming out stages to get these done, then sure, throw a rare on your team. Like, who cares? It's gonna get you the category done, right? Or any of these SRs. I've actually collected all of the summonable SRs and have them fully maxed out to their SSR status. So I have the ability to use a lot of them too for these runs. But yeah, there's plenty of Piccolos to choose from, so I think everybody should be able to get this one done as well. Okay. We'll go ahead and pop the checklist. There we go. Moving on. Next up, we've got a Universe 11 team here. So with all our Jiren cards and Topo and Dispo and whatnot. and casserole here. So you're going to be able to build a full team of Universe 11 units. Now, you could also add Special Pose if you had enough of the SSRs available as well, on top of the TURs, to not have to use Jiren. Because Jiren's not on Special Pose, but the other 3 of them are. So keep that in mind for people who have a better box than me. Unfortunately, I don't have all the SSRs for these guys, so I have to use Jiren on this team as well. So that takes off Special Pose from here. But you're able to use Special Pose with the Gotenks team that I showed first as well, so you don't really need it for this one, if you're able to use that team. But yeah, so this one's pretty straightforward. Those are the units you get. Welcome, Space Traveling Warriors. You guys are going to see that category show up probably more than any other category. Space Traveling Warriors, I would say, is the easiest category to get done, considering how many times I see it in these lists consistently. Alright, so adding some more on. We're starting to get a little more full there. That's exciting. So next up here, we've got a really good one, because this team is an all-cooler team, and it is actually, it can be fully free to play, because you've got the Metal Cooler story event that drops all the Metal Cooler cards. All of them are on all the same categories. So you've got these 5 right here, plus this guy right here. All 6 of those drop from the same story event. So you are going to be able to guaranteed do this, even if you're a free-to-play player or if you're missing any of these other summonable units. This guy is also free-to-play as well. You have to buy him with Battlefield memory, but he is free-to-play. So yeah, this is going to be another really good one for you to be able to do. Yeah, and if you aren't the type of person that even likes to grind out these cards, literally all you need is 1 copy of each to be able to do this. And then if you Dokkan Awaken just one of them, you could even just run all the SRs, and then Dokkan Awaken one of them to have the 6th unit to run as your leader or something. And then there you go, you're already set, and you'll be able to get all of those categories taken care of. This is a good one because there's some rare categories on there as well. Revenge, mainly, and Corroded Body and Mind. Those are really small, niche categories that you're not going to be able to make many extensive teams with. So this is a really, really good one for that. Let's go over... Oops. There we go. Alright, we'll go ahead and add our cooler teams on there. Adding quite a few in, that is exciting. There were quite a few repeat categories, but we added in about 5 there, I think, so that was good. Alright, we have another free-to-play team up next here, the Ginyu Force team. All of them are on all the same categories here. They are going to encompass those 6 categories you see there on the left. So obviously, all you have to do is farm up all of the free-to-play Ginyu Force members here. And then once you do that, you get a free copy of the LR from the missions for it. And then there's your 6. So if you don't have a single one of these units, then there you go. That's how you can get all of these done. And then there's obviously all of these summonable SRs and rares and stuff that you could use on here as well if you wanted to. But yeah, there you go. And if you have these guys like fully easy aid, this team is actually really good. So you could use this team to take down difficult content while you're getting these missions done as well. This team definitely is like a good team on top of being one of these extensive category teams. So that is kind of a good one. Go ahead and check off our Ginyu Force boxes here. There we go, a couple more. Next up, we've got a full Majin Buu team here. So this one's pretty cool. We're getting a couple tougher categories out of the way with this one, being Worldwide Chaos, Sworn Enemies. Those are definitely some harder categories to achieve, so that is going to be very good for those. Something to note here. Okay, so if we take a look, this guy is the TUR for the LR here, and then this is his SSR form, so subtract those, and then obviously this guy is an SSR of this TUR, and then these 2 SRs are, or I'm sorry, this is the SR of this SSR, and then this guy doesn't awaken any further. So if we count them here, we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 units, technically. So there's exactly 6 units that you can use here if you've got, like, the top version of every one of these cards, right? like the highest awakened version. So you're only going to be able to achieve this if you have all of these cards, or if you're lucky enough to have like enough dupes in one of these to have their SSR form as well, right? So something I will mention too is that if you are lucky enough to have like the TUR for this guy or the SSR as well, or the SSR for the int Buhan right here, then you'll also be able to add Kamehameha to this list as well, because I believe this guy right here and his SSR are not on Kamehameha, unfortunately. So it's 5 out of 6 that have Kamehameha. But if you don't have to use this guy because you have a TUR or an SSR of one of these other ones, then you'll be able to add Kamehameha there as well. So that is just a neat little tip. Alright, we are chugging along here, looking pretty good so far. Next up here, we've got the Team Bardock Squad. So this is kind of a cool one. At first, I was just using the free-to-play Team Bardock Squad as the example for this team. But then someone in one of my previous videos actually commented and gave me a helpful tip that if I were to use all the Grade Ape versions of the Bardock Squad instead, then I could also add Giant Form and Giant Ape Power onto, you know, as usable categories here. So that was a very helpful tip. So shout out to that guy. Yeah. So, but then the downside is that this isn't free to play. So if you want to, if you're not able to make this team, you could take off Giant Ape Power and Giant Form and just use the free to play Team Bardock Squad, and you would have all the rest of the categories still available to you. Because obviously this is pretty limited. This guy is a free to play farmable card, but all these other ones are not. And I believe this is actually a World Tournament unit, if I'm correct. Maybe I'm lying to you, though. But yeah, so you are pretty limited here. You've just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's exactly 6 units unless you have the SSRs available to use as well. Okay, we'll go ahead and check them off. We are getting closer here. Getting closer. That was team number 9. We actually have 21 total teams. And we start slowing down here a little bit because we're going to start seeing quite a few repeat categories. Finding unique ones is definitely a little more difficult at this point. So we have a total of 21 teams that we're going to be going through, so bear with me here. Next in line, we've got this Android Cell Saga team here. It's going to be all Perfect Cells and Super Saiyan 2 Gohans. That allows us to basically get Kamehameha as the main thing. But yeah, this is kind of an exciting one. We got Miraculous Awakening in there too, which is a really good category to be able to get out of the way. So this one's pretty straightforward. It's like all summonable units, except for this guy. He's free to play. But yeah, you have about, what, 7 options there? 8, 9? Yeah, 9 options. So I think a lot of people are going to be able to get this done, especially because most of these cards are pretty old at this point. So it's likely that you have 6 of these, right? So there we go. That is the Cell team. All right, we added in about 4 categories there. That's exciting to see this late in the game. All right, so next we have this Broly and Beerus team. That's going to give us access to these 4 categories right here. So this one is very, very good. While none of these categories are like difficult to obtain on their own, it's kind of cool to be able to get them all together there. If you are missing some of these, you can take off movie bosses and actually, you can take off movie bosses, and then you can also have access to Friezas. There's a few Friezas that will show up in this pool as well, I think. So you'll be able to use some of them instead if you are missing a few of these characters. But there are quite a few here, and a lot of these characters are pretty old, so I imagine most players are going to have the box to be able to take care of this. And another thing to note is my box wasn't quite good enough for it, but if you have some of these SSRs too, then you could run a full Beerus team and or a full Broly team here, and then you're going to be adding even more categories. Because the reason we're only limited to these 4 is because Broly and Beerus have quite a few categories that are unique to themselves that they don't share. So I'm forced to use a combination of both based on my box. But yeah, you could potentially be able to make even more teams with this. So that could be good. Okay, we'll go ahead and do our checklist here. Getting a couple more. Man, this right side is almost complete. Look at that. That is super exciting to see. We are getting there. Okay, so this next team is going to be a little bit tough for a lot of people, I imagine. There are 3 unique categories here that we haven't seen yet. So all 3 of these are unique categories, but it's mostly World Tournament units, as you can see here. Pretty much all of these are summonable units that you can obtain only in the World Tournament. And I know a lot of people don't grind heavy in the World Tournament, so you're probably missing quite a few of these units. That being said, there are a lot of them to choose from, and quite a few of them are SRs and rares. So potentially, if you don't have these units, the next time the World Tournament comes around, be sure to hang on to all your SRs and rares, because if you get some of these guys too, you might be able to build this team. But that is pretty much all I've got for that one. Alright, so we're adding 3 more categories on there. So next up, we've got our Blue Vegito and Rose Goku Black team. So they are going to be getting quite a few categories, as you can see here. Unfortunately, a lot of them are repeat categories. But the main hitting points here are Future Saga, Time Travelers, Patara, and Realm of Gods. I think those are all new categories that we haven't seen yet. So this is going to be a good one. All of these are summonable units, so you are going to have to have, you know, a decent box to be able to take care of this one. This guy is the only free-to-play one, actually. But all these other ones are summonable, and they're all Dokkan Fests, except for this guy who's a yellow coin LR. So these are definitely not the most, like, obtainable units. But yeah, this can be a good team to use if you do have some of these guys laying around. So that is it for that one. Alright. Next up, we've got our Kaylinkhalifa team here. So we are going to be getting quite a few categories. Unfortunately, I wanted to add Bond of Friendship to this one as well, because most of these girls are on Bond of Friendship, but I believe my box gave me like 5 out of 6 with Bond of Friendship, because I think that the Keflas are not on Bond of Friendship, so I only had access to all 5 of these for that category. So if you have one of the SSRs for this, I suppose I could have always used one of these farmable free-to-play SSRs on the team in addition, and then you'd add Bond of Friendship as well. So that's one thing to note. But this is nice to be able to get Peppy Gals out of the way, and also like a bunch of other categories at the same time, right? Because if you're running Peppy Gals, you're probably only gonna get Peppy Gals. I suppose you might be able to get like Earthlings pretty easily as well, but that's about it. So this is nice to be able to get like Super Saiyan 2 out of the way and the Universe 6 done as well, right? So yeah, this is definitely not a bad one. Alright, a few more in there. Alrighty, so the next one we've got here is an Android 17 and 18 team. So it is only the future Android 17s and 18s, so we can have Future Saga active as well. But this is another good one. We're not seeing too many unique categories here. We've already used most of these, but this is giving us Siblings Bond and Android, I think, are the 2 new ones we're getting from this. So that is nice, that we're able to get those categories knocked out. You don't have access to the most amount of characters here. You're definitely going to need to have most of these in order to get this done. As you can see, there's not very many to spare. In fact, there's only 5 UR characters, so you actually are going to have an SSR of one or more of these characters in order to be able to run this team, which I actually am. I think I've got, well, I believe these 2 are actually free-to-play farmable they drop from a story event, and turn into them. So yeah, so you should be able to just farm up the TURs for this, and then also their SSRs, and then you should be chilling, as long as you have at least 2 of the 3 summonable ones here. So that is definitely a more niche one, but still a good category to be able to use if you've got the units available. Alright, couple more checked off there. Next up, we've got a smaller list of categories here. So it's just going to be this movie heroes and saviors combination team here. So this is what I'm using for my box. You can also add Battle of Wits if you have some more of these SSRs and SRs available to use. The Goku and Piccolo are not on Battle of Wits, but all the Krillins are, and Pikkon is on Battle of Wits as well. So if you have enough of these guys to be able to make up a full 6 units without Goku and Piccolo, you can add Battle of Wits. But otherwise, you're just stuck with the 2 categories here. Some of these teams that I've built toward the end, as I'm trying to fill in the last few categories, are definitely not as extensive. And this team wouldn't actually be buildable unless you have one of the SSRs as well, because as you can see, there's only 5 units at their top ranking. So I believe I have this SSR as well for this Krillin, so he is the 6th unit on my team. But this guy is free to play. You can get him in the Baba shop, so you can buy him with Baba points. So potentially he could be your extra one that you buy. You just have to buy a copy of him to keep at SSR. Alright. So yeah, 2 more categories down. We are getting pretty close. Alright, next we've got another smaller one here. So this is going to be a Vegeta's family team. It's all characters, all GT characters from the Shadow Dragon Saga. So as you can see, there are only 6 units available here at their top ranking, so you're going to need all the characters in order to do this, unless you've got some of these SSRs chilling around. But yeah, that is pretty much all there is to say about this category. It is nice though, I think all 3 of those categories are unique that we haven't seen yet. So that is always a nice bonus. Okay, let's go ahead and check them off. Okay, we are getting very close here. We've just got a few categories left to go. Let's see, I want to say 4 more teams, and then we will be done here. Alright, so next up is our Dragon Ball Heroes team here. Obviously, you're going to have had summoned on Dragon Ball Heroes banners extensively to be able to do this. There are quite a few options that you've got here. Well, I suppose not quite a few. You only have 7, and you need 6, right? And it's highly unlikely that anybody has like extra copies of just the SSRs chilling around. So yeah, this is going to be a more difficult one to do. But it does allow you to get the Super Saiyan 3 category thrown in there with crossover in Dragon Ball Heroes. So that is going to be a nice way to get this one done. Alright, we'll go ahead and check these guys off. And I believe that's 3 unique categories as well, which is exciting considering how close to the end we are here. We've just got 3 teams left now. Alright, the next team we've got is a Representatives of Universe 7 team. There's actually so many Join Forces cards on that team, it's insane. So that's what we're rocking here. And then obviously they're all on Universe Survival Saga as well. So yeah, there's plenty of options to choose from, including multiple different free-to-play units. You've got both of these guys are free-to-play. And, you know, obviously they awaken into TURs. So right there, technically, you could have 4 of your 6 units because you could run the SSRs and the TURs if you wanted to. So this one should definitely be achievable. I'm sure that everyone's got at least 2 of these cards. There's so many different options here. But yeah, so that has actually given us 2 new categories there with Join Forces and Reps of 7. Alright, it is the home stretch here. We've just got 2 teams left, I believe. We're just looking at a few categories here. Okay, so next we have a Super 17 and Baby team here. It's our GT Bosses team that we've got. This one is a pretty small bunch of characters as well. You're only going to be able to do this because if you've got these guys right here. So these are summonable SR Android 17s that Dokkan awaken into Super 17. You're basically going to need them unless you've got the SSRs of these TURs, and then obviously this is the TUR of the LR. So if you've got, if you don't have, you know, these other SSRs, then you're rocking 1, 2, 3, 4, and then them two as 5 and 6. So that's literally all. There's only 6 units here if you're considering like the top rank for each character, right? So yeah, this is definitely a harder one to do, but there's some good categories there. Some harder to complete categories that are definitely going to... this will be an advantageous team for you to be able to use if you've got the units available to do so. So that is actually going to knock off 2 more unique categories for us. GT bosses and inhuman deeds there. So as you can see here, we've only got 1 category left. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, so last but not least, we have our Saiyan Saga category here. It's just going to be all Raditzes and Gokus here from the Saiyan Saga. This should be a pretty easy category for people to do. A lot of these guys are free to play or just easy to farm up. Or, not easy to farm, but like easy to collect. You know, they're just banner units and stuff. So I imagine most people will be able to get through this bunch, especially with like there being summonable SRs on here and stuff. This should be a pretty easy one for people to get. Obviously, if you've been following the entire guide to a T, then the only category you have left is Saiyan Saga, so you're not limited to this pool if that's really the only team that you need. But yeah, if you did want to use this team, you're going to get a few extra categories there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and switch over for one final time here and finish off our checklist. So, boom! There we go. We have now checked off all 86 categories in just 21 teams. So that is the fewest amount of teams that I was able to create in order to cover all 86 categories. So feel free to try out that website yourself, guys, and you know, mess around with it and see if you can build, you know, cover all 86 categories and even less teams than me. Leave it in the comments below if you do. I would be super impressed to see if someone was able to create it in less than 21 teams. So yeah, that is gonna be the full and complete guide here. So I hope you guys enjoyed what all this extensive information on these titles that you were able to get. If this video gets good responses, you know, if I get some good feedback from it, if it seems to be doing well, then I will definitely do more videos like this in the future. This is definitely the most effort that I've put into a YouTube video so far. I've been making content for about 2 or 3 months now. And this is by far the most effort I put into a single video. It took a ton of time to make all these graphics and stuff, so I really hope you guys appreciated the amount of effort that I put into this. I wanted it to be super, super reader-friendly and easy for you guys to be able to go back and look at the video if you wanted reminders of what categories to use and stuff. So I wanted it to be very appealing to the eye. So yeah, I hope that you guys found this inspirational and helpful. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed what you saw, then come be a part of the Toxic Tribe with a like, comment, and subscribe on the video. We are trying our best to get to 77 subscribers before the end of the 7-year anniversary. So smack that red subscribe button. That would help me out a lot. And that is going to do it for this one. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.